So I want to go back in time with you a bit. You're pretty clear on how you manage the business right now. You understand your position, you understand who does what. I assume that when you started out, it was not all so clear.
It's always been like this. Yeah. No, Bob Dylan was my business plan. Cymbals on the knees, guitar, mouth organ, the whole 9 yards. That was my business model right now.
So sometime between Bob Dylan and now, why don't you talk about where you had a struggle, where you had failure, where you felt, maybe I'm in the wrong line of business, maybe I'll go back to butlering or whatever it is, and how you came out of it and how you grew from that.
So about 5 years ago, I sat in the bar right across the road from here with my then business partner, Tal, and we had $10,000 between us in the bank. And that represented our savings, it represented our cash flow, it represented the business. We had work going on, so we had cash coming in, but we sat there and we were working 14, 15 hours a day, 5, 6, sometimes 7 days a week. We were employing 15 people, and we couldn't get out of our own way. We were stuck at this $2 million revenue, which we could service, and we had pretty good relationships with our designers, good relationships with our clients, but we'd been there for about 3 years. And no matter how hard we worked and no matter what we did, we couldn't break through this 1.8, 1.9, $2.1 million revenue mark. And we sat over there and it's like, what do you want to do, man? Because I can't keep going like this. It's killing me. I'm unhappy, I'm not well, I'm stressed. So we took our last $10,000 and we decided to get a business coach. And we interviewed several people and we found this guy, Mark Green. Mark Green works for a larger organization called Gazelles. And we called up Mark and we told him our story, and he's like, you guys are you sound a bit like a basket case, and I'm not sure I'm that interested. And I said, look, dude, this is our last 10 grand. That is how committed we are to listening to what you've got to say. So Mark agreed to take us on as a client, and we started running West Village GC as a business. And business is not goat entrails and tea leaves. Business is not some who guesses best wins. Business is a process. Construction is based in process. It's also a people business. Whether it's the client side or the work we're doing, it's a people business, and understanding how people think and understanding what motivates people and understanding how to touch, move, and inspire people to do their absolute best. We make stuff. That's what we do. We make stuff, which means that we work with artisans. We work with people that are deeply passionate about what we do. So finding that person who's deeply passionate and bringing that passion out, because it's often been buried. People, there's bad contractors, but there's bad clients too. And people that come into it with this, I'm really good at millwork and I'm going to make this amazing thing for you, and then they don't get paid and they end up being crushed by the business. It's not an unfamiliar scenario, if you've been in the business for a while. To find people that you can bring this out of, that you can create an organization that really inspires people to do their best work, that's what we're good at. Putting that into an organizational structure that is a viable business, that's what Mark brought to the table. And that turning point took us from a struggling, small, never get out of our own way construction company into a construction company that does double-digit millions in revenue, with a client list that is fantastic, with an architectural and design list where we do, for some architects and design companies in New York, we do all their Manhattan work. It doesn't get bid, they know our pricing is competitive, and they give us projects because we make their life easy, because we run it like a business.
So, first of all, I have to commend you, because that choice and the ability to stand behind it, to say, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, I'm investing this in this because I believe in this, but I know I need help, and I'm not afraid to go out and get it. That's a great thing. I think that really separates people from success, the success stories from the failures. To be able to stop and say, I need to invest in the business because I'm running around in circles here. That is very, very powerful.
As much as in the business, it's also investing in yourself. I look at people that I started this business in 2001. It's 2016. I started this business in 2001. And I look at businesses that started in 2001, and I don't know what the exact statistic is, but it's something like 95% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. So the fact that you actually make it 5 years is pretty extraordinary. But do you make it to 6? And are you actually successful? Are you actually prosperous? So everybody in the company does Landmark Forum. Landmark is a sort of a psychology course that you can do. If you look it up online, it'll say it's a weird cult, but it's not. I did it, and it changed the way I look at the world. It changed my view on integrity. It changed my relationship to my word. What comes out of my mouth has to be true. It has to be fact. I have to make it so. And if I don't intend making it so, I don't say it. Having everybody in the company go through a 3-day course basically focused on integrity is a primary ingredient to our success. Everybody in the executive team, so the 6 people in the executive team, read 1 book every 2 weeks. We can listen to it on audiobook, so people are on the subway, they listen to books, because we create an environment of learning. You may come to me, but you're not finished. You'll never be finished. And if you think you're finished, you're not going to fit in here. We want people that are anxious to learn. And that means we all read the same book or listen to the same book over a 2-week period. Then we go to the pub and we have lunch, we have a couple of beers, and we talk about the book. We talk about what we learned. So being in an environment where it's always learning is absolutely key. So it's not just working on your business, because that makes it sound like you're working on the marketing plan. You're working on how to schedule stuff. But your business is made up of people. If you're going to work on your business, you really need to work with and on your people. And that's what makes a company from where we were, this messy, scrappy, get it done, always putting out fires company, into a smooth, well-oiled machine. And everybody in the company speaks the same language. We all understand what the goal is. We understand what we're trying to achieve. We understand what the client values.
That is really awesome stuff. To understand that a company isn't the mechanics, isn't the structures, isn't anything intrinsic. Rather, it's comprised of the people that build up the company, and building those people, putting them in place to sort of extend your will into the world and create that vision of yourself.
Exactly. But it's not just my vision, although it's my vision which is the seed to this tree, if you like. The people and the buy-in from your people. Because you can have a great person that's got 25 years experience that hates what they do. I'm looking for someone that loves what they do, that wants to be an A player. And one of the things we do when we're hiring, we're actually looking for a site supervisor right now. So we give the site supervisor a set of plans. I'm familiar with the plans, and I know what the main problems of starting this job will do. I give that set of plans with a blank timeline and say, please spend an hour and a half looking at these plans and fill in the timeline. So demolition, HVAC, framing, plumbing, electrical roughing, lighting, whatever it happens to be. I'd like you to fill this out. And there is a right answer, but in an hour and a half, I'm expecting you to be sort of 80% there. If the person that's a candidate doesn't really want to do that, that's great, because I don't have to hire you. And I don't have to find out that you don't really want to do that in 6 months' time. I can find out right now. And you can go and find a job that really suits you. But if that's like, oh, this is a great problem, that turns me on, then I know that you're on the first step to being a great fit for working with West Village.
That is awesome. Test out the person to see if he's actually passionate about what he's doing, rather than just passionate about talking about it.
Yeah, or has a great resume, or was passionate about it 10 years ago,
go.
but really, they should be running a fruit stand. Maybe not a fruit stand, but you know what I mean.
Yes, I definitely do know what you mean, and also I love that you bring passion to what you're doing. I think that's very, very important. I think that's a differentiating factor that really creates beauty in this line of work.